Hi, everyone. Welcome to your latest Carson's Take 5. Ryan and Sonu. Sonu, it is spooky season. It's Halloween week. So we're going to title this one, Are There Monsters Under the Bed? First things first, do you eat all the candy your kids don't eat?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Come on, you liar. You eat it all.
And eventually my wife is like, this is too much, because they collect like a whole bucket full of candy, and we're not going to let them have it. Just so that everyone listening knows, I have 9-year-old twins, so we're not going to let them have all the candy they collect. And, so we're like, oh, we'll give you 2 a day or something like that for 10 days. And after that, after the 10th day, all the candy is gone, right? I mean, we're eating it. My wife eventually takes it to her office. So they have, like, in the office, like those tubs full of candy. People come in and you can grab it. People like me. Every time I go to an office, any of our partner offices, I'm always taking the candy from there.
Oh, when they have a good candy out front, like I was at an office, one of our Carson partners not long ago, I won't say who, but like they had like fresh made chocolate chip cookies. Okay, these weren't just like a little Snicker bar that's that big. It was a cookie. Anyway, well, we could go all day on this.
I am partial to the Hershey's dark chocolate, those little pieces of the Hershey's dark chocolate. No hint for any partners listening,
Then you have to eat like 15 just to get 1 bar, and that's what you have to do. But anyway, let's maybe this is a worry, our love of candy. So listen, the market is doing well, right? If you've invested this year, stock market up low double digits in the United States, around the globe doing better. We've talked a lot about gold having a huge year. Bonds are doing pretty darn well. Cryptocurrencies are up. I mean, for the most part, it's been good out there, Sonu, but it's spooky week, spooky season.
And people are bearish. I think I saw a poll saying a lot of people are bearish.
Hey, it's scary out there. It's scary. What scares you? I mean, again, let's be clear. We probably are optimistic. Well, we all are optimistic, but we get paid to worry. What are some worries out there during this Halloween season?
As a global macro strategist, I feel like my job is always to worry about something. There's always like, oh, what hurdle is what wall of worry is the stock market going to have to climb next, right? But I think like last week over earnings season, some of the big banks reported, JP Morgan, Jefferies, Fifth Third, you name it, regional banks. And some of them are like, oh, you know what? We had some exposure to companies that went bankrupt in September and, for various reasons. We won't get into all of the details. But I think the positive news out of that was those seem to be very localized, very idiosyncratic, right? It didn't tell you that, the consumer's in trouble or households are in trouble. Sort of like 2007, 2008, right? Yeah. There was a lot of bad borrowing. Here it was more like, I think it was bad lending, to be honest. I mean, when money markets are paying you 4%, 5%, a lot of people feel like, when they're trying to earn more yield on loans, for example, they're like, oh, we have to stretch further. And that gets you into troublesome spots of the market. That's what happened. But I think it's localized. These things happen. There's always something to worry about. I don't think it's more systemic or anything like that, honestly.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, listen, the S&P 500 had one of the greatest 6-month rallies we've ever seen off of Liberation Day back in April. We went 33 days on the S&P without a 1% move up or down. Now, since October, we've had a lot more volatility, right? And I think, that's something I think we need to brace for. One worry as someone who gets to work with advisors and clients all the time, we get kind of spoiled by where we just were, right? We're always looking in the rear view mirror. Markets don't go up all the time. Let's just remember this. We're up 5 months in a row now, maybe going to be up 6 months in a row. There will be some volatility. There will be some pullbacks.
It's not that easy?
It's not that easy. It's usually not that easy, is the honest truth. So let's just remind ourselves ahead of time, right? Plans are useless. Planning is everything. President Eisenhower. Plan for some potential volatility, some big swings. A couple of Fridays ago, we had some worries over U.S. and China trade. Market was very volatile, sold off pretty hard, but we've bounced back. We've come back in a big way since then. So I think it's just important to remember volatility is the toll we pay to invest. And when we have that inevitable volatility, whenever it is, that's something that I think could scare a lot of investors that haven't had it in a while, and they forget that, markets do go up, but they can also go down. What about the Fed? You want to talk about the Fed for a minute or two? We haven't had any economic. Well, maybe I'll give it to you. I don't know if it's a worry, but it's real. We don't have a lot of economic data. The government is shut down. The Fed is kind of flying blind, Sonu. They're probably going to cut interest rates this week. Some people listening to this, Fed's probably going to cut interest rates, but they're flying blind on a lot of data. Does that worry you?
all of us are flying blind, I feel. No, we're getting some data. Like, for example, the automakers reported that car sales are okay, pretty reasonably good in September, right?
Okay.
Remember, by this time, if you think back to April, a lot of people said we'd be in recession by now. We're not in recession. Yes, the tariffs will pull back and all of that. The economy, based on our own modeling work, everything we are looking at, the economy is going on trend. And I think in the absence of data, like you said, the Fed's flying blind, status quo remains. What is that status quo? They're going to focus on protecting the labor market more than focusing on inflation, which means we're going to get a rate cut next week when they meet in October. And we're going to get a rate cut probably in December as well. And that's another tailwind for the stock market, right? We have a few tailwinds. You mentioned momentum. Momentum begets momentum. Last 6 months, we've had a lot of that. I think your work has shown that, the last quarter going into January is a positive seasonality, tailwind for the markets as well. And then we got tax cuts in 2026, right? Tips are going to be, not taxed to the extent they are right now. Seniors get a deduction, right? People are going to be able to deduct more of the state, local income taxes, property taxes, things like that. So suddenly, I think in the first quarter of next year, a lot of people are going to get outsized refunds. And remember, markets are forward looking. I think markets also looking ahead to all that kind of stuff happening in 2026.
Well said there. So there's always worries. We still are in the camp, though. There's more positive and negatives. One example I've used before, one of my worries is people doubt this bull market. People listen too much to what they hear on TV, listen to too many magazine covers. I'm looking at you, The Economist, and tell you how bad it all is.
60 minutes?
Yeah, 60 minutes, doing 1929, trying to get some eyeballs and maybe some fear out there. The reality, though, is we are in a bull market. We've been saying this for a long time. We don't think this bull market's about over. Right, so work with your financial advisor, make good investment decisions. But we think riding this bull market, not avoiding it, not being scared of it, is potentially one of the bigger worries that are out there. And hopefully, if you've been listening to this Carson's Take 5, you know what we've been hammering home. Hey, we'll go down eventually, but we're still going higher in a global bull market, and we're still there. So everyone enjoy Halloween. Don't eat too much candy out there. And with all that, we'll be back next week. I guess next one we do is November, right? I guess we'll see everybody in November. Kind of sounds weird to say that, but thank you for being here at the latest Carson's Take 5. See you next week. Take care.